Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site, links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Kendrick Lamar, and that's Humble. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So after finding his last outing, The Heart Part 4, one of the best releases of the March period, I went into this track fairly excited to say the least. Although I'm not hoping for something quite as experimental as last tune, so I'm not really expecting that, I still wanted to hear some of that signature Kendrick flavour, so shall we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, I thought it was fine, and it's clearly a parody or a satirical look at the mumble rap genre / trend that is around at the moment, but I still feel a little bit disappointed by this track. Now, it's important not to take this track too seriously. It's not being made with the feeling of having to take it too seriously, but like I said, it's meant to be like a fun poke at the genre, maybe at a couple individuals as well, like a little bit of a semi-diss track, but I just feel it could have been done much better than this. I just felt that some lines were a little bit weak, especially if you are going for the mumble rap genre, especially for Kendrick, someone like him, an artist like him. And I also felt that the song was sort of, half the song was spent just repeating the humble hook, which was a little bit boring and safe for me. And you're sort of getting into Nicki Minaj type territory when you use one word hooks for the entirety of your track, at least half of the track. And it had some decent instrumentals in the song, I will say that, but it just didn't have too much content behind it, so it's unusual really. When it comes to the production of this track, as usual, it's been mixed and produced pretty darn expertly. The beat is simplistic yet thick and especially wholesome in that low end, as you'd expect it to be. The lower stabs in the piano as well sort of added that tonality into the low ground, which I kind of was wanting. I thought the studio effects / siren samples worked fairly well in the background to add decoration to each section, and it was mixed very well as it never really became distracting, but every now and then would stick out in the foreground just enough to keep you more entertained, so it didn't just slip into the background for the entirety of the track. When it comes to the vocals, I thought they were very crisp throughout this track, very precise, rich with diction as you'd want them to be, with each lyric and note ringing out in the mix very well. And it sort of contradicts the whole mumble rap parody idea, so I guess if this is meant to be a parody on mumble rappers, on the trend of mumble rappers around at the moment, monosyllabic rappers, yeah, it's better to have mixing towards their style, I guess, but you know, that's just an idea. So all in all, it's a really solid mix. When it comes to the musicality of this track, there just isn't much there to really talk about. The vocals are somewhat monosyllabic, which sort of goes along with the idea of it being kind of like a parody, as well as being monotonous, especially in that hook, which I usually enjoy much more. It's his signature thing to have his naturally nasally tone really pick up this track, but it didn't really work this time around. I thought the rhythm was a little flat despite there being so much going on in the dynamics. There was often crescendos used to build towards big transitions and diminuendos coming out of choruses and towards the end of the track. I also thought the stabs and piano riffs were a little repetitive and dull for me, even though the first few bars were a little exciting. They just repeated and repeated again until they were really burnt into the ground. And I just feel if you take sort of Kendrick's name off of this record, it doesn't get the same acclaim. I don't think people would be noticing it nearly as much as they are. I think people are bigging it up because it's a Kendrick Lamar song rather than it being that great of a song. Now, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. In fact, it's far from being bad. I just thought that it could have been improved a little bit. I thought some of the themes that were expressed, especially lyrically, were actually fairly decent. I did enjoy some lines. I felt that some lines were actually fairly funny. I thought the first verse and chorus was quite explosive as well. I liked how he came out of the blocks really quickly with some strong transitions and well-used dynamics, as I've mentioned earlier, but all in all, I think it just could have been much, much better. Lyrically, the track had some decent moments, and there were some semi-decent call-outs and jabs in here that worked very, very well throughout the entire track, but I felt the expression was all off throughout the track as well, and I didn't feel that he was into what he was saying, which sounds a little bit strange, I know, but it's just been done better before by himself on his previous track. And I think it could have been a critical showing after his last track. He could have really built on it, but for me it felt like a few cheap jibes at some unknown artists that we could only really speculate on. So all in all, the track is fine, and I think Kendrick fans will like what they're given here, but for me, I found myself that sort of feeling like something was missing on this track. I think that's the best way of ending this video. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and before I forget, the G rating is 5 out of 10, which is completely average, straight down the middle. Like I said, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye-bye.